overcame a problem, it was often from talking to somebody who had done the exact same thing that I was hoping to do. Here for you to help you exactly where you are now because they've been there before too.
Welcome, everybody. Paul, we can still see your screen too, so thanks for pulling that up. Hey, everybody. Carl, good seeing you. Let's see, Maddox, Jerry, anybody who's open to turn on their camera. That's always great to see smiling faces here. So welcome, everybody. Welcome. I'll keep being doorman here and try to multitask a little bit here. But Paul, how did you say, how was you said Masters Week and Easter weekend and all that stuff? Like, how has your world been? I know you said it's been a little busy here.
Yeah, it's been pretty busy. After Masters, we rented our home to a golfer named Shane Lowry. Of course, he made the cut, so he played on Saturday and Sunday. Then I stumbled into some last minute badges, and I went to this Masters on Sunday with my son, which was a really special thing for us. And then now this week I'm trying to manage Myers House Buyers while also doing this presentation, while also I spoke at a brokerage this morning. I spoke at a brokerage yesterday. Those were about raising money and debt. And then I'm working on finalizing the questions. I've had the interview for a while because you remember I worked with that for Kim Kiyosaki on Rich Dad Poor Dad back in January, but I just got questions I've got to hack and one or two that I'm going to add. So I'm working on that. And then I'm presenting on Sunday. So
yeah,
I'm finalizing I took the big give I did at the DealMachine Mastermind in October, and I've updated that based off the last 6 months of experience and additional marketing strategies that I've incorporated into that whole agent relationships world. So
nice. There you go.
It's a busy time, but a good time.
Yeah, that's a good reminder in the chat there. Well, one, just put where you're watching from. Always love to say hello. We'll share the networking sheet here for you guys here in just a minute. But also put in the chat if you're going to be in Phoenix this weekend. I'm not sure if there's anybody else in here that's going to the Wholesaling Inc. event, but it's the Growth Summit this weekend. Paul's going to be there. I'll be there. David Lecco is going to be there, our CEO and founder. So it's going to be a big party. So, Carl, you're not going to that, are you? No. Oh, you're on mute there.
No, I won't. I'm going to miss that one.
All good. No worries. Oh, nice. Jerry's in Phoenix. There we go. Yeah, go. I don't know if they have any tickets left for the Growth Summit, but that would be. I mean, anybody in Phoenix, definitely look it up. So
they don't have any in-person tickets, but they now open sales on like a $97 virtual attendance.
Got it. Okay. So
that's what they're doing now.
Nice. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, love to say hi to people in town if you can find a way to get there. I know just as I'll try to multitask here, let people in. Ryan should be joining at some point too, but we've had a growing group. It's been really exciting to continue to have more and more people, get involved here inside these master classes. But if this is your first time, just a heads up for you, these master classes, they're hosted by DealMachine, but they're not about us. It's about you guys. It's having you really invest in yourself, invest in your education, invest in your team, invest in your network. So that's our goal with these, is to really have you come on here and be able to network with each other, network with other people on that level who are really investing in their real estate business, really growing their real estate business. I'll share the networking sheet here for you guys. It's dealmachine.com/elite right there. That's all, everybody who's attended these events, feel free to jump in there and you might meet your future business partner in there. We have plenty of people who have done that on these before. So love to be able to connect our community there. Again, our purpose of these is to have outside experts who are world-class in what they do come in and speak on a subject that's related to real estate in some way and help you really grow your real estate business in that process. So it'll be a great time to give you the opportunity to ask questions. If you've got team members that ever make sense for a particular subject. Oh, Ryan's on here. There we go. Awesome, Ryan. If you ever have a subject that's really of interest to you or to someone else on your team, feel free to open that up to your other teammates. We've had especially when it comes to like sales or marketing or different subjects like that, we've had people invite acquisitions managers on and things like that. I know we've had some really exciting guests as of late. We had on Steve Trang last week. which we sent out the email script or that sales script today for you guys. Sorry, appreciate you being really patient on us getting that email out there for you, but we sent out that with that file for you today. So if you didn't get that email and you're wanting the script that Steve shared with everybody last week, one, you can look at the recording of his talk at this link here. It's content.dealmachine.com. But then, that follow-up material, that sales script there, that's something that you can just, reach out to me direct if you did not get that email, and happy to share that with you, because he was phenomenal last week. He was really, really good walking through kind of the foundations of a really solid sales script. And, he broke down, scripts live for us too. So he was on last week. We had on Carrie Porter the week before that, which she was really focused on using VLMs, which is a virtual lead manager, and using virtual assistants in your business. So that was a really good subject. And again, we cover the gamut. Like, we've had on people talk about everything from mental health and like self-love. We had on Brad Chandler doing that, to like Paul today talking about, underwriting and flipping and, all kinds of stuff. So it's a wide variety here. And again, our goal is just to bring in these outside experts, help educate you and help you grow your real estate business through this. So welcome if it's your first time. I see a lot of familiar faces. Welcome back to everybody there. If you want to turn on your camera, that's always great. If you're willing to do that. I know today Paul's going to really focus on talking about how to do profitable house flipping in 2023. But before we dig into that, I know we always kick this off with sharing wins, sharing good vibes for everybody here. So is anybody up for sharing a big win that they've had in the last, week or couple weeks? It could be like a new deal you're doing, a new partner you've brought on, a new hire you made. You could be a personal win, anything you're willing to share with the crowd. That would be awesome to start things off. So, and Ryan, do you mind if I make you co-host, by the way, man?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay.
I've been admitting people too.
Thank you. Paul, do you have any other? I mean, I know you've got plenty of wins you can be talking about, but
I'm excited to this Saturday, if y'all do tune in virtually, or if you're there, one of the things that I've always wanted to see was to be able to interview Robert or Kim Kiyosaki about Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and the actual single family real estate investment stories they tell within the book. Mm-hmm. They tell, if you add them all up, there's like 20 different stories across 200 pages of that book. And so I'm really excited. I mean, a win for me is to be able to sit down with Kim. She's been a friend of mine for 7 years now, and to ask her those questions and just to hear her perspective, because I feel like all they get asked about or interviewed about, and all they talk about a lot, is predominantly global macroeconomic issues, the dollar losing its place as the reserve currency of the world, and they just don't get asked questions that of which the answer might help a single family real estate investor. So I think a win is just having them come into our community and address our community and talk about how they got started, in Portland, Oregon, 30, 40 years ago.
Yeah, that's going to be fascinating. So, that's our win as well. I know I'll be out in Phoenix, and David as well, at that event. Anybody else, feel free to hit the raise hand button, or, hit the unmute button here if you're willing to share, again, any deals you're working on, any big wins as of late.
I'll share one, Matt.
Yeah, go for it, Carl.
We got this crazy tax foreclosure deal. Real quick, we pulled the file. The guardian ad litem couldn't find the heirs. We did a deep dive, had to do some door knocking, but we finally tracked down the heir to the property, made a deal to give them $10,000 for their share, which they actually end up 100%. Long story is, there's like 16,000 or so in taxes, and the bid is up to 273,000. So we already have the deed. We have full ownership now, and we have 3 people fighting over the property. So that'll probably be about a $250,000 deal. But we had to do the deep dive with the heirs, and then we had to go back. We had to deep dive real quick into find the heirs that the guardian ad litem couldn't even find. So that's sort of, anybody knows this. We specialize as these messy deals with heirs, and again, we love dead people.
Yeah, I mean, Carl is phenomenal at just doing that. Like you said, really digging deep on the data, looking at family trees, that kind of stuff. He's actually spoken 2 or 3 times to this group. So if you check that content.dealmachine.com link, he gives away a ridiculous amount of value of just strategies on how he's doing this stuff. So definitely recommend watching those. And thanks for sharing that link, Brian. Awesome. That's gonna be massive, Carl. Keep us posted. See anybody else willing to share? I know we had like Gene was in here. We've had a couple of regulars in here that I saw. Don't want to pick on you guys too much, but
I'll jump in. Hey guys, good to be
What's up,
back.
Gene?
Hey, yeah. Actually, just want to celebrate that I got 2 under contract, 2 rentals, and yeah, I'm closing one this week. By Friday, we're looking at, and then the other one in a couple weeks.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats.
Ring that bell.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good stuff. Hey, what market did you say is that in?
I'm in Maryland, so I'm in DC.
That's all in that area. Okay, gotcha. Yep. Nice. So if anyone's in that area, there's a networking opportunity right there.
Sweet. I'll share real quick. My name is Parker, and
Parker.
I am just getting started in wholesaling. I've been doing buy and holds for the past year, and working on a project in Cleveland right now, and driving for dollars currently in Long Beach, California, where I'm basically going to establish my wholesale market and then build up enough capital to expand my marketing into other markets such as Cleveland and Houston and wherever else this journey takes me.
Nice. Thanks for sharing, man. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people on this call on that journey too. I'd say probably more common, even the inverse of that, going wholesaling into the buy and hold. But that's fantastic that you're looking at a couple different strategies there. So welcome. Nick, do you want to share? Go ahead.
I do. Yeah, I'll jump in too. So we're actually closing on a flip on Friday. That was from Driving for Dollars. And that one's been for a while because obviously been working on it, but it is closing now. Also, we just turned our marketing back on. We've been kind of dead for a while because we had a guy steal money from us. That's a whole nother story. But I got a lead, wholesaled it to one of my regular guys, made 15,000 on that one. And I was taking him to see the property the day before yesterday. What would that have been? Monday, to walk through his end user. He was gonna hold it and rent. And that afternoon at noon, I got a call from a lady that said, "Hey, a text from a lady that says, hey, I want to sell my house." And it was about 3/4 of a mile from the one I was going to. I said, "Can I come this afternoon?" So I took my buyer with me to go look at that house. He walked through as my contractor, told me what he wanted to pay. She wanted too much money, but I made $9,000 on it the same afternoon. So we rang 24,000 bucks in the last 10 days. So it's been a good couple weeks. Yeah.
Glad you're back on track, Nick. That's fantastic.
Yeah, thanks.
Good job, Nick.
Awesome. Good stuff. Any other last calls here before I kick it to Paul? All right. Well, good stuff, guys. Appreciate you all sharing there. I know Paul, I mean, he is a regular contributor at these, truly a go-giver. Like, is this the 3rd one of these you've done, Paul?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So you can see those past recordings at that content.dealmachine.com link as well that Ryan's been sharing. Paul, he's built a 7-figure real estate business in less than 2 years. Just an awesome community member here for just all of our Deal Machine community in general, and just really grateful to have him involved with the group. So Paul, can you maybe talk about a little bit of your background too, and then I'll just let you take the floor, man.
Sure. Yeah. I'm a real estate investor in Augusta, Georgia, as you can probably read by my title. My background, I'm 38. I started investing when I was 22. I bought my first rental and got married and started a family. And so you can see a picture here of my wife and kids. I've got a 4th kid that's a newborn. But we've been married for 15 years. My wife was kind of always all in on real estate. You know, she knew I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad in college and about 24 other books by Robert Kiyosaki, and she was extremely supportive from the beginning, which has been a huge blessing. I kind of cut my teeth in real estate. I had a corporate career for 13 years out of college. So age 22 to 35, I worked for 4 different companies, and I was always on the side buying rentals. And so I started off in the business very conventional, didn't know what wholesaling was, didn't want to fix and flip. I just wanted to buy and hold because that's what my mentor had done. He owned over 100 homes. He was a deca millionaire. So I just figured I would just copy what he did, which is what I did. And by God's generosity and grace, I was able to kind of get out of the rat race in my early 30s, around 34. And I bought a lot during the recession. So I was fortunate, 2009 to 2013, I bought a lot of VA foreclosures and Fannie Mae foreclosures, and just kind of worked real hard and used the money that I had from my job, my wife's job, to buy as down payments and as renovation budgets to kind of cash flow the acquisition of rentals. So I've got a couple dozen right now, and they're all just conservatively leveraged, like 30% loan to value, long-term 15-year fixed rate mortgages in place. So no adjustable rates, no balloons, nothing very risky. And then about 3 years ago, I launched Myers House Buyers. And I left the corporate world and just decided to go out on my own and find my own way. And it's been a great decision. I've loved it. And yeah, so year 1, I did 615 in gross revenue. Year 2, last year, I did 1,320,000. A lot of that was because I created a second division in my company. My first division that I did the majority of our business on, I did 615,000 in revenue in 2021. 520 of that was direct to seller postcards, or we also called it off market at the time. But then there was this other little piece of the pie, call it 15%, where we did 95 grand in real estate agent referrals. This is just real estate agents who knew who I was, and they called me, and all I had to do was just buy the home and immediately put it back on the MLS, or wholesale it that way, or do whatever. And I made 95 grand off 3 deals, totally unintentionally, very accidental. And so the next year, which was last year, I spent 2022 creating an entire division around how to build relationships with real estate agents. So if you do tune into and I don't get paid, if you do, but if you buy a virtual ticket to the Wholesaling Inc. Growth Summit, you can find it in Google. On Sunday, I'm talking about the 33 strategies that I went back and mapped out all the different things I did related to real estate agents. And I may also, I'm sure, do a DealMachine Masterclass on that. Matt'll probably invite me back, and we'll do one maybe in the next month or 2. So
that'd be great.
So that's a little bit of my story. Matt, was that everything? Did I cover everything you wanted?
Yeah, that was good. Great. 1, appreciate you teeing that up. 2, for everybody in the chat, feel free to ask questions there. I'll monitor that. And as we go, I'll be able to facilitate that for you guys too. So, yeah. Paul, go for it.
Yeah. So last year we did 1.3. Half of that was direct to seller marketing. And I used DealMachine. I'm an elite member. Obviously, we all are on this call. I mailed last year 303,000 postcards. I like to claim that I was the largest postcard mailer in February of 2022 because I made Matt and David figure out if I actually was, and I was, but turns out that was a really bad mistake because I over leveraged postcards and lost about 50 grand, but we all make mistakes. And then I did another $600,000 in real estate agents and listed properties. A little bit listed properties, actually only 150 grand. It was real estate agent referrals, pocket listings, just different agents coming to me with off-market stuff that we made about 450 grand on. So I am today not talking about really any of that. I'm talking about an exit strategy called fixing and flipping, which essentially, if I were to, I don't really have any slides with this because we're going to spend the majority of the next 30 minutes talking about this, which is the buy and sell terms worksheet. And Matt, if you'll give me a thumbs up if my screen is sharing properly. Okay, good, it is. So this today is all about underwriting a fix and flip. But before we get there, I want to tell you why I'm talking to you about this. And the point is simply this. I've listened to hundreds of videos by Jerry Norton. I've listened to hundreds of podcasts by Jerry Norton. He has 1,900 YouTube videos and over 600 podcast episodes. And one of the things that I've learned from Jerry, and I'm thankful to him for, is his helping me understand that if you're wholesaling everything, you're limiting yourself. You're leaving a lot of money on the table for your cash buyers to capitalize on. You're basically taking the flipper's profit and giving it over to the fix and flipper. Nothing wrong with that. It's great to do. But as many of the talented and successful speakers in our world that I'll be sharing the stage with this weekend will tell you, wholesaling is really your freshman year of college, and fix and flipping is like your sophomore year of college. And junior year might be buy and hold, and senior year might be development or multifamily. But what has made a huge difference in my business is looking back last year and saying, man, if I had fix and flip these 5 properties instead of selling them to my friends and my cash buyers, I could have increased our gross revenue from 1.3 million to about 1.7 million. And so today I'm going to give you a tool, and it's an Excel spreadsheet, and I call it the buy and sell terms worksheet. And at the end of this call, you're going to get that as a free resource from me with no strings attached. I've already emailed it to Matt, and Matt's going to email it out to you at 4 o'clock when we're done. And today I'm basically going to train you on how to use that tool. And the tool is simply how you can accurately underwrite a fix and flip so that you make sure that you make money on your flips rather than lose money or break even. So that's what today is all about. If you want to learn how to accurately underwrite a fix and flip, that's what I'll be talking about. I don't have any slides except for the spreadsheet itself, and I'm going to walk through all the cells of the spreadsheet and tell you how I look at underwriting a fix and flip so that you can walk out of this call, out of this Zoom call at 4 o'clock and say, man, I now have the tool and I know how to use the tool. So instead of wholesaling, oh, sorry, Kevin, you might want to mute yourself. So instead of wholesaling 90% of the deals I come across, I'm going to wholesale 60% of the deals I come across. The other 40%, I'm going to split up between 10% buy and hold and 30% fix and flip. And my hope is that by doing that, you're able to retain the flipper's profit for yourself and increase your top line revenue. All right, let's get into it. So this is the sole slide I have right here, which is called the buy and sell terms worksheet. I want you to see it from a big picture perspective. So right here, you have the purchase terms, which consists of, I'm going to give you a brief overview of the entire spreadsheet. It consists of your fast after repair value or after repair value, what you can sell a property for. Then you subtract out what you want to make in profit. Then you subtract out 4 different costs of fixing and flipping. The 4 costs when you're doing a fix and flip are obviously your cost to buy it, then your cost to renovate it, then your cost to carry it that entire time, and then your cost down here to sell it. So those are your 4 buckets of cost when you're doing a fix and flip. And then you have your profit. If you subtract those 5 things off of whatever you could resell the property for, well, that leaves you with your purchase price. Or some investors use the acronym MAO, which simply stands for your maximum allowable offer. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to pull out of this, and I'm actually going to pull up a spreadsheet, and I'm going to show you this is this spreadsheet in Excel, not PowerPoint. And this is what you're going to get via email from Matt at the conclusion of today's call. In addition to this initial spreadsheet, which I call pricing shell or underwriting, you have a repair estimate, which has a really good rule of thumb for all the different components of a house. And then you can take these components, these are from my licensed general contractor that I use on a lot of my fix and flips. And you can plug these numbers in over here on rehab categories. And if you look at this, you can scroll down, you got about 37 categories for a fix and flip, and you can plug in the numbers right here, all the way down here, and get a total renovation budget right here. All right, so let's start at the top. And I'm going to take a deal that I'm doing right now, and I'm going to show you we're going to underwrite it together. I'm going to walk you through my underwriting of it from start to finish. And I also want you guys to interrupt me, and Matt will keep an eye out for raised hands. If you want to raise your hand, you can, there's a function within Zoom, you could do that. I would love to answer questions throughout this because I don't have any time reserved for Q&A at the end. So if you have a question about something I'm sharing, just interrupt me straight up, and then we'll address your question head on. Sound good?
Paul, really quick. Well, one for everybody, this is being recorded, so you'll get the replay at content.dealmachine.com. I had a few questions on that. One question I did have was Erica earlier asked about touching on how the market is affecting flipping. Are you changing anything in your strategy or pivoting anything currently, as a reaction to that?
I'm really not. My main business strategy right now has been to transition from fix and flips in the 150 to 300 range to doing fix and flips in the 300 to 700 range, which is what this deal is an example of. So I'm actually doubling down on fixing and flipping. I've sold, I'm not a huge flipper, but I flip a couple homes at a time, and my goal would probably to flip in the 12 to 24 range. So I'm not some guru that does 300 flips a year. Last year we bought 64 homes. I flipped maybe 10 of them, 5 or 10, something like that. But obviously the higher price range you flip at, if your net profit is this number right here, 15%, then you're going to be making a higher profit on a higher ARV. So are interest rates increasing? Yes, but I find that if your product is good and it's the most attractive thing that an owner occupant might want, then I'm not having problems selling my flips. Good question. Any other questions, Matt?
We did have a few people ask about how you're working with agents. I know that's a whole another talk.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you want to answer that.
Yeah. We'll do that as an additional masterclass. So that the content for that is at least a minimum of an hour presentation. So that we'll have to have that as a separate masterclass, which I'd be more than happy to share in May or whenever Matt feels it appropriate to have me back.
Awesome. And Parker had his hand raised as well. Parker, do you want to jump Parker for a question real quick?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Are you seeing that in certain market, I mean, I'm not sure what market you're in. I didn't catch that, but are you seeing that prices are actually slightly increasing in some areas?
Our market is not going through a major, I'm in Augusta, Georgia. That's 2.5 hours east of Atlanta. It's on the border of Georgia and South Carolina. We have an MSA of about 400,000 people. We don't go really high in the peaks, and we don't really go that low in the valleys. We're a pretty stable market. We have stable medical. We have a military base called Fort Gordon, and we have good manufacturing base. So we're just kind of a stable market. We're seeing a little bit of a slowdown, and the interest rates are higher, but it's not really affecting my ability to sell fix and flips right now.
Because I'm looking for a deal to flip in Houston right now, and I've been looking at deals for the past 3-4 months, and I've noticed that the properties that are value add situations, they started at like 80 to 90 or 80 to 100, and now they're at like 100 to 130 with the same ARV, but for some reason those like lower distressed homes that are on market are like for some reason increasing in value. So I don't know if I was just curious if you guys were seeing that or if anybody else was seeing that as well in their markets.
Yeah, I think our appreciation is moderate in our city, and we're not experiencing drastic appreciation, but things are just kind of leveling off or slightly appreciating. Okay, let's kick into the spreadsheet real quick and see if we can get through it in 30 minutes. So first of all, after repair value is your ARV, is what you're immediately going to be able to resell a home for. Now, I'm going to assume you guys can comp properties on Zillow. If you're not, it's really not rocket science. You just go to Zillow, pull up sold, pull up the 3 that have sold in the last 6 to 12 months. Or if you really want to get more aggressive, 3 to 6 months would be more accurate, and establish an after repair value for your property. Once you have that, that really kicks off your underwriting. And I like to apply a fast sell factor. If I can, let me see if I can move this around here. Hold on. I'm going to toggle between 2 different spreadsheets here so you can see the one that that you're getting over email. Hold on 1 second. Okay. So at the bottom of this, I have my base template that I use, which my acquisitions managers make copies of, and then they complete on their own. So here we go. So after repair value, you list your 3 comps. Then we sometimes apply a fast sell factor. So Parker, going back to your question, if you feel like you're in a market decline, or the properties, like I looked at a property earlier today, it had 5 acres and it was a little on the rural side, just a touch. You could apply a 5 to 10% discount based on market conditions. So we generally 2.5% to 5% is something that will apply here. And that should get you to what we call a fast after repair value, which is the price that something should be under contract for in under 30 days. Okay, fast after repair value. From a profit perspective, profit always comes first. That's why it's first. We have a rule of thumb that we use, which is if the ARV is under 300, then I expect to make more, which is 20%. But generally speaking, if the ARV is over 300, I'm okay with making 15%. So you can change this percentage. Again, it says only fill in the green boxes. So you can toggle this percentage between 15 and 20%. But no matter what, you're really not going to go underneath that number. Okay. That automatically calculates this. So any cell that's in white is automatically calculated. So there's our profit. So here's a home we're going to flip for 200, but we think we'll for sure be able to get 190 for it in 30 days. And I want to make 15% of that, although this should be now 20%. So I'll change it to 20%. And then my expected profit on that is to make 38 grand. Okay. So this might be a deal that you could wholesale for 10 or 15. But if you fix and flip it, generally in our business model, we'll give a green light to fix and flipping something if number one, if we can make anywhere between 2.5 and 3 times whatever we could wholesale it for. So we might send something out to our cash buyer list. We get some offers of where we could make a $10,000 spread, but I know I can fix and flip it because we do this sheet. I know I can make 30. I'm going to fix and flip that property. Okay. All right, let's talk about cost of purchase. Your cost of purchase is your finder's fee, like if you have a bird dog, or agent commission, which we sometimes pay. One of our creative things we do is we work with real estate agents that don't want to charge their friends and family a commission. So we pay them ourselves on the buy side, which is fairly uncommon. 99% of all real estate transactions, the seller pays both the listing commission and the buy commission. But we've found a lot of success in helping pay agents directly within closing above board, but it's just we're paying it as the buyer. So you could put in a 3% or a 6% buyer's commission. I've got a deal I'm closing this next week where I'm paying the buyer's agent 6% because she didn't want to charge her friend, or they have a seller. They want the seller to net as much as possible. Maybe it's a childhood friend and they say, you know, I don't want to charge them a commission. Then I come back to that agent and I say, listen, I want this to be a win-win for you. Just, will you at least let me pay you 3%? And they'll say, sure. And then I budget for it right here. Okay. Inspection, those, I mean, you guys know what those cost. They range from $350 to $800 based on the square footage of a home. Partner with a local home inspector that's in your area to get a specific number on that. But here we paid $350. And then closing costs would be title insurance. If you're going to carry the property for a fix and flip, you're going to have title insurance that you probably want to buy. And then any other closing costs like attorney's fees and title work. Okay. So I'm going to switch gears here and I'm going to show you this spreadsheet, which is a home that I'm doing right now, that I've already underwritten and I've already bought it. But here you can see I underwritten my cost to purchase is $2,100. And this number comes up to here into this column as cost of purchase, which is your cheapest bucket of the 4 buckets right here. Okay. Then we get at a renovation cost. So renovation cost, I break down into 3 buckets, right? So if you look at this spreadsheet, I have total renovation, contingency factor, and GC fee. The total renovation is all the money you're actually going to spend with subs or on materials, so labor and material. In this particular, which I told you, you can put together in your repair estimate sheet and your rehab category spreadsheet. Or if you're meeting with a general contractor of the property, you can work with them to put together this renovation budget. So in this particular case, I have a renovation budget of 276 grand. Okay, this is a 4,200 square foot historic home that we're renovating, and we're doing pretty much everything on it. It's almost a full gut. So I'm not going to spend the time to go into this, but this is what a very elaborate example might look like of your $276,000 renovation budget broken down. Okay. So you have framing, roof, windows, plumbing, electrical. You can see some of the bigger numbers: cabinets, interior paint. We had a huge budget for siding on this property. We're doing board and batten, hardy board across the entire exterior, or sometimes called fiber cement siding, excuse me. Flooring, 17 grand. So you add all that up, you get a reno budget of 276 grand. There's 2 other main things I budget for when I'm doing renovation. The first is a contingency. That's the, oh crap, this costs way more than I thought, allocation. So generally, I'd recommend you have that somewhere between 5 and 20%. On this particular deal, let's see what I had here plugged in. I have 10% contingency. So I sit down with my general contractor and I say, how bad could this really go? What do we need to put in for unforeseen things? Because as we all know, when you're doing a renovation budget, all you do is account for the things that you know that you can see with your own eyes. But you're going to inevitably miss all the things that you can't see, that you can't account for. So we've got a 10% fudge factor, you could call it, right there. And then I have my GC. So here he charged me a flat fee of $30,000, but generally for a licensed general contractor, we would pay in the 15 to 20% range if we're pulling permits on something. And that's charged against the renovation budget. Or if you're using an unlicensed general contractor, you may pay in the 10 to 15% range as a fee multiplied against the renovation budget. Okay. In this case, he's charging me 30 grand as a flat fee, which you could put that in as well. But you'll see in the spreadsheet that I send you, you get 15% to 20% or a flat fee for your general contractor. So concluding, for cost of repair sub worksheet, you add together your reno plus your contingency plus your GC fee, and that gets you to your total cost to repair the property. Now let me pause, take a sip. Any questions so far? All right, sweet.
Paul, I did have one. Frederick asked, who are you currently using for hard money or private money for flips?
That's another 1-hour presentation about raising money, which I gave that this morning and yesterday at 2 different real estate brokerages in my market. I would recommend you, well, shoot, let's pull up the presentation. Let's pull up raising money, present full screen, and get ready to write. Whoever asked that question, I'm gonna show you something you can use right here. Someone with a net worth of $3 million to $10 million, and someone that's a CPA, your parent, your college roommate, your car dealer, your chiropractor. I've borrowed private money from all 5 of these bullet points right here. Corporate executives, presidents of local banks, oral surgeons, pharmacists, owners of businesses, big and small, top producing real estate agents that are netting $1 million a year. So that gives you an idea of different private money lenders. All right. And if we want to do a presentation on that, we can do that on raising private money. We could do that on another masterclass. That answer your question for now?
Thanks. Fantastic. We had Ron and Gene were asking a few questions around the rehab estimation and reno costs there. If you can kind of clarify that, that'd be great.
Okay, what was the specific question?
Ron said, I thought you said your reno was going to be 275K. And then Gene said rehab estimation includes labor and materials.
Yes. So my reno is going to be 275, or which you can see right here, $276,485, plus a contingency in case things go wrong, plus a fee for my general contractor to manage the whole thing. So I don't ever have to go to the site. So I'm a hands-off investor at that point. I'll help him pick some things like final granite. You know, if he wants to send me some choices, I'll weigh in. I'll partner with my real estate agent that's going to be my eventual listing agent, but I'm paying this GC fee here so that I'm not visiting the job site every week. I do have a representative from my company that's going to visit the job site and keep the general contractor accountable as an owner's rep, an owner's representation. But that's your total renovation, is those three added up, which is 334 grand. That answer your question? Okay, I got a thumbs up. If I didn't answer your question, just raise your hand again and we'll cover it again. Okay, any more questions, Matt, or you may keep on? Okay, sweet. So carrying costs would be your cost to hold the property while you're renovating it. So these would be, and I'm going to pull up, yeah, I'm on my actual property, 1129 Georgia Avenue. These would be your property taxes. And you could see on this template, I take the property taxes from the Zillow or the county website, I divide it by 12 months, and then I multiply it by the term of my hold period, which would be in this case 6 months. Most fix and flips, you might pull it off in 3 months from, I'm talking date of purchase to date of sale. You might pull that off in 3 months, but that would be a best case scenario. And when you're underwriting, you have to plan on worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is going to be 6 months and then if you have a bigger project, 12 months. So like in this property, I really should have 12 months in here, but I have 6 months. But this property is going to be a 4-month reno, 1 month to list it, and 1 month to get to the closing table with the owner occupant buyer. So I have 6 months in here. Probably should have put 12 months or at least 9 months. Insurance, when you're fixing and flipping a home, you buy what's called a builder's risk or a vacant policy, since there's no tenant or occupant in the property. That's a little more expensive. It might be 50% more expensive. In this case, the insurance agent charged me $1,809 for a 12-month policy. And then you can see I have that cut down to 6 months. So divide by 12 months, multiplied by 6 months is your 6-month holding period. Utilities, $300 a month for power, water, and gas for 6 months is $1,800. And then debt service. Debt service is, let me go over here and show you what it actually looks like for this property. So in this property, I have 500 grand that I borrowed at 11% for 9 months. And if you want to know how that's actually broken down, I have a car dealer who's a Deca millionaire who's in first lien position, who lent me 90%. He lent me 100. I bought the home for 201. So you can see that up here, 201. He lent me 175 grand on the purchase in first lien position. And then he lent me another 175 grand also in first lien position as a construction draw. So that's 350 he lent me, and he's in first lien position on that 350. And then I have another private money lender so that I could have be no money out of pocket, who lent me, I think it was like, let's see, I bought it for 200. I needed 325 to renovate it. So it's 525 is the total project cost. I got 375. I got 350 from Bob. And then I got another 175 from my other friend, Jordan. So you add those two together, you get to the total project cost of 525. So my strategy as an investor is always to borrow. If I'm going to fix and flip or wholesale and take something down with cash where I'm not wholesaling it, I want to raise 100% of the money to buy it and to renovate it. That's the ideal scenario. You're not always going to find that. And we could talk more about raising private money on a future masterclass if I'm so fortunate as to be invited back by Matt. So let's look at the cost of that debt service. Here you can see I have 500 grand times 11%. So that's probably the blended rate between my first lien position private money lender and the second lien position private money lender. And that cost for me to borrow that money is $41,250. Again, I could talk more about interest rates, points, terms. That's a whole nother presentation, but 41 grand here in debt service. So that puts my total carrying costs at $44,992, which again comes up here and plops into this cell in the spreadsheet right here. Now, category 4, unless we have any questions. Matt, any questions yet? One question.
One question here. Maximiliano asked, do you usually budget 13% for the GC fee, or is that just depending upon your market?
No, I generally budget what you'll read right here in the spreadsheet, which is, right here, 15 to 20%. But every wholesaler is you're only 2 things away from fixing and flipping once you have this spreadsheet. And Matt's going to email it to you today in 13 minutes. All you need is a private money lender and a licensed general contractor. That's all you need to fix and flip properties. Now, the licensed general contractor is tough to find. You have to kiss some frogs and you're going to make some mistakes. But those are really the only 2 things you need to transition from wholesaling to fix and flip. Okay. That and the ability to underwrite a property as a fix and flip, which is right here. Okay. So to answer your question, again, 15 to 20% for a licensed general contractor that pulls permits. Okay. Let's move to the last category, which is the cost of sale worksheet right here. When you're exiting a fix and flip, you have generally some base expenses to account for. You have your agent commissions. That's your biggest. Okay. So in this particular property, I have 6.5% allocated. Now, you may strike a deal with a real estate agent. I've done some with real estate agents where they'll list it for 1% or 1.5%, and then a buyer's co-op of 2.5%. or 3%. The lowest I've ever done is 3.5% total, which is 1% to a list agent, 2.5% to a buyer's agent. If you're triple dipping and giving the listing back to an agent that brought it to you to begin with when you first bought it, then you need to ask that agent, hey, what do you want me to budget for relisting the property with you when I'm done with the renovation? And they'll probably say 2.5 or 3%. Okay. But you need to factor in the co-op for the buyer's agent too. So generally that's 6% or 6.5 or 7%. So right here, you see I have 6.5% times cell H8. And what is H8? It's my fast after repair value right here. So 745. So 6.5% times 745 is $48,000. If you want to have a home warranty of $500, great. I don't typically put in cost for title insurance and fees. And we are doing a small allocation of 1% for buyer's closing costs that you don't see here. But I'll bet if you pull up the spreadsheet I'm sending you, yeah. If you have a starter home, add $3,000 to where, if you have an owner occupant that's buying their first time home buyer buying a $300,000 home and they ask you for some closing costs, you can pay 1% of their closing costs. Okay, there's $3,000 for that. Okay. We also started staging all of our homes at the $250 price point and above. So we pay a local stager. She's a fix and flipper, but she does staging on the side as a side hustle. I've sold her some homes. She charges me $2,000 to $2,500 to stage the kitchen, the living room, and the master bedroom and the bathrooms. So that's what the staging package is that I get. So you can see how I've allocated for that here. If it's under 250, like if it's a townhome, you probably shouldn't stage it. But if it's over 250 and under 2,000 square feet, $2,000. If it's over 2,000 square feet, 2,500. And then I pay my stager a travel fee because she has to drive from Macon to Augusta. All right, so we add all that up, we get our total cost of sale. So going back to my historic home here, we have Georgia Avenue, $48,000, but it was all agent commissions. And that comes up here, right here. So let's conclude with I'm going to walk you through these calculations. So we have an ARV that we feel really good about of 745. Now I'm going to take a break and I'm going to pull up Zillow and I'm going to show you why. Oops. I just pressed a button that I don't know what it did. Hold on one second. Let me get out of that. Okay. So this property is a historic home. So I had to find 3 other homes within a half-mile radius. So let me show you those homes real quick. Okay, here's the subject property that I'm buying. that I bought directly from a owner. This is a postcard lead that came through Zillow. There you can see the home. If you want to see me walking through it, you can check us out on TikTok. Then I'm going to scroll a half mile to the west and show you 3 homes that I found that were comparable in nature, which are, you can see I've got them hearted right here, 745, 725, and there's a third one that has just popped up down here, 750. Okay, so those are the 3 comps. I partnered with a real estate agent locally that is very familiar with this little niche market of North Augusta, and got a CMA done before I made this investment. And we decided that 745, was a good, fair renovation, a resale price. I wanted to make 15% on it. That's 114 grand. Then I'm subtracting out these 4 buckets. So my total cost is down here, 429 grand. And that gets me down to what I can buy this home for. I initially, one of my acquisitions managers put this home under contract for 220. Then I went and looked at the property in person. And because it was such an extensive rehab, I just said, man, there's no way we can pay you this. We really need to be at 201. If you don't want to do the deal, that's perfectly fine. And they wanted to do the deal. So we bought it for 201 cash, and we're in the midst of a 4-month renovation on the property. So, all right, let me pause and see if you guys have any questions real quick on kind of the conclusion of how you can get to the purchase price you can offer for a home. Matt, any questions?
Not specifically about that. We did have one question on handling taxes on profits from flips.
Okay.
But I don't think we
can talk about that.
Yeah.
So I have a separate checking account aside from, like, Myers House Buyers, the real estate investment firm has 5 checking accounts. If you read the book Profit First, we have our income account that all the money goes into. Then we have taxes, we have operating expenses, we have marketing, and we have profit, which is really first. So 25% to each of those buckets. I've got this other account over here, and I call it OPM, or other people's money. So when I buy a property like this, I fully fund the renovation with either my money or a private money lender's money in that account, or my private money lender wires the money to the closing. It's in that account, so that way I'm not commingling and I'm not committing to more rehabs than I can actually take on at one time. So the day I bought this, I moved 201, I had 201 grand plus the 334,000, all in an account called OPM. I pay for everything out of that account. I pay my GC the draws that he sends me when he sends me pictures of the work and all that. Then at the end of the day, and 5 months from now, when I sell this property and I get the check and I go deposit in my account, in the OPM account, and there's 114 grand left over, I take that 114 grand and I move it into my income account. Once it goes into the income account, then it gets split up according to the book Profit First. And just go, if you're an elite member, go into the DealMachine library and pull up the David Richter masterclass where he talks about Profit First.
Yeah, I just mentioned that in the chat too. But yeah, it's like content.dealmachine.com link.
So Matt just put it in the chat for you guys. So I'm going to take that 114 grand and I'm going to split it up into 25% to marketing, 25% for Uncle Sam, 25% to operating expenses, and 25% to profit. So Paul Myers would put in his account 25% of 114 grand, whatever that number is, 35 grand. Good question. Any other questions?
I think that's it for now.
You guys are easy. We got 5 minutes to spare. Come on, guys.
Love it. Feel free to either hit the raise hand button or throw questions in the chat here.
Yeah, there's some questions in the chat because we got 5 minutes to burn.
Love it. Yeah, Paul, again, well, one, appreciate you coming on and sharing all this. If you could recheck the file for this, I'll make sure to send this out to everybody. Let's see. Oh, Rainey asked, are all those accounts under one LLC?
Yeah, they are. Myers House Buyers LLC. If you want to hire an attorney and spend $400 or $500 to create an LLC, you can. or you can go to your own Secretary of State's website for your state and search under registered trade names, search Myers House Buyers, see if an entity exists. If it doesn't, then you can claim that trade name and spend, I think, $100 with the state to create the LLC. That's what it is in Georgia. And then once a year, you get a renewal fee of $50 that you pay to keep the LLC active and in compliance. Good question.
Nice. Now we're getting some questions. Here we go. You called them out. Let's see. Tom asked, for your comps, do you use the DealMachine comps tool at all, or do you just do Zillow, or what's your process?
I haven't. I got in the DealMachine app yesterday and I saw that the comps, I think, function was locked. So I guess I thought I had all the services for DealMachine, but I need to buy some more services. No, I mean, this comping, not to undermine what DealMachine does, but Zillow, click on more, change the sold period to 12 months, apply, change this filter to sold, bada bing, bada boom. Here's the 750, the 725, the 745. Maybe that's just a cheap man's way of doing it. I'm sure DealMachine has a better service that is faster or more efficient than that.
Yeah, and that's something. Any DealMachine specific questions? Again, Ryan, if you can post your office hours in the chat, if you guys want to see like a demo of the comps or any of that stuff, Ryan does a great job with those office hours. So yeah, and I love seeing the networking going on in the chat here too. So yeah, go ahead, Parker.
Yeah, I was just curious if you're are you using 12 months for your comps, or are you narrowing it down to like the past 3 months since the market's kind of adjusted a little bit in certain areas?
Yeah, the obviously the more recent the better, right? So here's a comp from June 30th of 2022 that's over 750. That's 10 months. This is kind of a unique property at a unique price point in a historic home. So I think anytime you need to go back beyond 3 to 6 months and expand your comp range to 9 to 12 months, then you really need to stay tight on matching your bedrooms and baths. So I wasn't actually going to do this. It'd be cool if I could show you the floor plan I'm going to do for this historic home. But in short, I looked at all the bedrooms and baths on all of these comps, and I made sure that my finished product, after I blow 330 grand on this dump, is going to meet or exceed all the bedrooms, baths, full baths, half baths on all the comps. So when I go to market on this property at 750, here's one that has a 5, 2.5 that sold for 745. I'm coming to market with a 5, 4.5. So I'm going to have at or above the number of bedrooms and baths of all the comps that have sold, the 3 comps.
Awesome.
So the guiding rule of thumb, Parker, is if you're going to expand your date range into the 6 to 12 month range, you need to make sure that your bedrooms and baths on the comps you're looking at are very accurate, very close to your subject property.
Thanks for that.
Sure, good question.
Stuff. And I know we're coming up on time here. Do you mind if I do a real quick rapid fire for you?
Yeah, bring it. Let's do it.
Okay. So Enzo asked, just to be clear, the 114K is after you've paid back your lenders?
Correct. Yeah. So they got to make all their money down here, Enzo, in the, where's our debt service? So they got to make 41 grand on their $500,000. And I subtracted that out, and I'm still making 114 grand.
There we go. Clarification. Dina asked, why do realtors send you off market deals? Why can't they list them? Again, that's we can do a follow-up.
Yeah, that's a great question. So let's answer it. I'll give you 3 to 5 reasons right off the top of my head. Number 1, a high income producer real estate agent gets a call once a year with a dumpy, dilapidated, distressed home. Number 1, they don't want to get any phone calls on it. Number 2, they can double or triple dip with me. Number 3, they don't have the time. Okay, so If a real estate agent has a distressed home, they know they're going to have to list it at a distressed price. So what happens when you list a home at a distressed price of 100 grand and all the other homes in the neighborhood are listed for 200 grand? You get 1 million phone calls. Does a top producing agent want 1 million phone calls, or do they want an investor they can call one time and double dip and never get a single phone call? Number 4, reputational risk. Does a high income producing agent that's used to listing $500,000 to $1.5 million homes want the reputational risk of listing a dumpy $50,000 or $100,000 home that you could make $20,000 on if you bought and wholesale it? No, they don't want the reputational risk. They want the reputation that they have on the billboard of being an attractive female that crushes it in real estate and only works in the $500,000 to $1.5 million price range. That's 4 reasons right there off the top of my head.
There you go. Ron asked, how do you handle the time to analyze the deal to the seller? This looks like it would take weeks.
How do I analyze? Okay. Do this spreadsheet every day for it. To do this spreadsheet, it's only a 5 to 10 minute. Once you do it over and over and over again, it's extremely easy. I could have done this in 10 to 15 minutes in underwriting it. So that's really not time consuming at all, in my opinion.
Awesome. Shirley said, do you only do deals in Georgia with your LLC, or do you have an LLC in each state? Like, if you were to do deals in other states?
I'm just a regular investor, man. I'm in one market. I want to dominate my market. I'm in Augusta, Georgia. I got one LLC. I'm a simple guy. I just want to crush my one market. So one LLC, one market man. I'm a one woman man. I'm a one market man. I'm a one LLC man.
Keep it simple. Spencer, and you kind of answered this earlier too, but Spencer was asking, are you afraid the market will change with big rehabs from the time you buy to sell?
Maybe it changes. Maybe I only make 50 grand. Last year I hit my targeted net profit on all my flips, on all 5 or 10 fix and flips. So, I got to tell you, it's a lot funner to make 30 to 60 grand than making 10 grand on a wholesale fee. So I guess it depends on the risk you want to take. I've decided, go wholesale for a year, make 600 grand, net 200 grand, and put that in a bank account. And then you'll be asking yourself, how can I increase the 600 grand to 1.2 million in top line revenue? And then you'll realize, man, what if I did some of these fix and flips myself? And, it's a risk, but to me, how do you mitigate risk? Accurate underwriting. Look at this spreadsheet. This is accurate underwriting. Everything that could happen on a fix and flip is covered in these 4 buckets right here. So are you going to miss categories? Absolutely. You're going to miss every category every time, but just try and be as accurate as you can. Try and be as sharp and as intelligent as you can. And the things that you miss or you're off on, you'll learn them and you'll get better, and you'll take this spreadsheet and you'll do amazing things with it. You'll do things that are even better than I've done with it.
Yeah, just really appreciate you being willing to share this. Again, Kenny asked about the spreadsheet. We'll be sending this out afterwards as well for everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for being an awesome, just great resource for everybody here. But I think, JP said, what are the 2 steps that get us closer to flip?
Yeah. So let's just say you're a wholesaler, and last year you wholesaled 20 homes or 12 homes, and of the 12 deals you did in 2022, you wholesaled all 12. So you did 1 deal a month and you wholesaled them all. So you're 100% a wholesaler, and your only exit strategy is wholesaling. I'm encouraging you by helping you see that you're only 2 things away from being a fix and flipper, because there's not much to fix and flipping except having the money to do it, which you can find from a private money lender, and having a construction resource, a reliable, trusted, licensed general contractor to manage the renovation for you so it doesn't distract you from your core business of wholesaling, which is a marketing and sales business. So most people, if you're like me, you like marketing and you like sales and you don't like construction. I don't want to visit a job site. Okay. I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in picking out the granite and the roof and all those things and arranging the kitchen. Do I have to do some of that? A little bit, because my general contractor comes to me and wants to get my rubber stamp on final plans. But my encouragement to you is you're really only two things away: raising private money and finding a licensed general contractor. So, and maybe that'll be a future masterclass. Maybe I'll do my next masterclass to be on raising private money.
There we go. Don't want to book your entire calendar full of this, but people in chat clearly love this, man. I mean, we're getting a ton of people asking for the spreadsheet. So everyone give Paul a big thank you in there. Again, book those office hours with Ryan. Show up to those. He's fantastic for any deal machine related questions. Paul, is there any way people can connect with you directly or follow you on social or?
Absolutely. You can send me a Facebook friend request. You can see how my name is spelled right down here and what city I'm in. So you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter. And I'm on all those things. But if you want to email me, my email is, or I'll just give out my cell phone. Let me put that in the chat, or someone want to put that in the chat. It's 706-294-7343. That's 706-294-7343 is my personal cell. My email is paulmmyers@gmail.com. So you could also email me. I'm a little busy this week, but it may take me a week to get back to you. So, but yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to start raising private money. Don't make the mistakes that I did. I did not start raising money till 4 years ago when I was buying a 40-unit apartment complex and I needed 3 people to give me $100,000. And then I raised the money and I was like, man, why haven't I been doing this for 13 years? I was just doing buy and hold and trying to freaking gut it through my own. I mean, it worked great, raising my own money to put down payments and renovation costs. But if you learn how to raise money and you get a smoking hot deal, which should be your core business, every one of you guys, then you should be able to pay cash for that home and put it back on the MLS and make way more than your wholesale fee. See, we've had 2 deals we've wholesaled on the MLS in the last year where we could have wholesaled them. I had under contract for 100, could have wholesaled it for 30, put it on the MLS and got 170. And paid $10,000 in commissions and netted 160, which I paid 100 for it, so I netted 60. So you just need to raise private money so you can take stuff down with cash and put it on the MLS. That's another reason why you need to learn how to raise private money. Don't wait 13 years to learn how to do it like I did. I would be in a lot different position if I'd learned how to do it a lot earlier on. So raise private money so you can wholesale your deals on the MLS as well. You'll probably make twice whatever a cash buyer would pay you as a wholesale fee. And that was just a free little bonus nugget.
Great stuff, man. The chat's blowing up with thanks and praise to you. So again, appreciate you coming on. I'm excited to hang out this weekend. So I'll see you in Phoenix.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I'll be there. Shane and I are a couple days early to experience Scottsdale. We're flying out tomorrow. So hopefully I can't wait to meet you and give you a big hug on Saturday morning.
Awesome, man. Well, everybody on here, again, same time, same place next week. Pay attention to your email. I'll send out the spreadsheet from Paul. And, in the meantime, happy deal finding. So thanks, everybody.
Yes, thank you. And Maddox Vic, thanks for your last question. What agreements do you put together with your lenders?
There we go.
Okay. Let me answer that. Can I answer that real quick, Matt?
Yeah, go ahead. Hopefully you're not sweating from the rapid fire here.
I just want to serve the people, man. I just want to serve the people. Your attorney should help draft a promissory note and a lien that gets recorded. So it's not rocket science, Max. It's super easy. The attorney, you just need to negotiate the rate and terms with your private money lender. Call it 1 point and 10% interest rate. Okay, 10 and 1. 10% interest and 1 point. Then you tell that to your lender, And I use, my local attorney has something he calls a loan information sheet. So I'm going to send this to Matt and he can send this out to you guys. But let's send this to Matt.camp. I'm not going to send it to your other fake email, Matt. Don't worry.
Yeah, send it to Matt at DealMachine. But yeah.
So this, when you're meeting with a private money lender, this is the document you need to use to put in the borrower's name, the property address, the loan amount, the interest rate, the loan term. Is it going to be amortized? I generally prefer a single balloon payment. That means when I resell my fix and flip, I pay a lump sum back to the private money lender at the closing. They get paid inside closing when I sell the property, a single balloon payment. That means they're not getting monthly payments on interest, but some private money lenders and most hard money lenders do want, they want to be paid monthly, interest only, okay? So in that example where I had $40,000 of interest over 6 months, divide that by 12, they would want me to pay them $3,500 a month in interest. But see if you can get a single balloon payment, and then make sure they have lender's title insurance, and make sure you have property insurance so it covers your lender. And then if you're going to pay a point, put that in here. This is what any attorney in the US, if you're in an attorney state and not a title state, this is what they're going to send you to make sure that they prepare the promissory note and the lien appropriately, so that they get it right in the HUD on closing day. Does that actually answer your question, Maddox? Awesome. Thank you for the salute. I appreciate that. Good question. And yes, Maximiliano, which I probably mispronounced, we will have Matt send this out too. It's a sample, but again, you could just call your whatever closing attorney you use in your market, just ask them and say, hey, can you send me whatever documentation I would need to share with a private money lender that covers all the rates and terms governing a private money loan. And then they'll send that to you. That's just the one that my attorney sent me. So, all right.
I love the chat. They're like, Paul's addicted to helping people. It's great. Thanks for staying overtime, man. This is awesome. So
absolutely. I think how do you start raising money? I think we answered that, but that's also a separate talk.
Yeah.
You got to find people with net worths that got it, and you got to explain to them how you can get it from them, and then what they're going to make on the deal. You got to send them this buy and sell terms worksheet where you've underwritten the property. You got to send them the comps. You got to tell them when you need the money, what interest rate you're willing to pay. And I can elaborate on that more when I have another hour. I'll show you what I do, which is called a request for proposal. So if you just look, let's find it for that very deal. Here's a request to borrow private money, where you can see that I have sent an email to BCC, blind carbon copy, to 10 different private money lenders. And I told them I'm buying this property. I need 201 to buy it. I need 327 to renovate it. So that's 530 grand that I need total as my total project cost. I'm willing to pay 8%, but I didn't get that. I had to pay him 11. I want a promissory note for 12 months, but I hope to do it in 6 months. And I'm not going to give you any payments except a final payment when I sell it. And then I need the money in a week or two, because that's when I'm buying the property. If you want to participate, let me know. And I send this BCC to all my private money lenders, and then I call them all directly and say, hey, do you want to participate? I sent you the email. I attached my underwriting right here. So here's my buy and sell terms worksheet. I send them a CMA on the comps, and then just see if they want to participate and make 10% on their money. And again, I can give a more elaborate answer to that on a future presentation.
Awesome, man. Thanks for breaking that down too. You're great at taking complex things and making it straightforward. So
yeah.
Fantastic. I think we covered it.
Covered it. All right. Signing off. Thank you guys. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'll let Matt hang us up. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
See you guys next week. Thanks, everybody.